So, one story I've thought about over and over again in 2020 was from a song by Joanna Newsom called Colleen. For copyright reasons, we can't play it on Zoom because it's not in the public domain. But Joanna Newsom is such a master of lyrical songwriting that I encourage all of you to listen to it or read the words. Um, yeah, it's a really good story. So, at its heart, it's a story about a Selkie, which is a being from Norse and Celtic mythology, usually a woman, and they transform into a seal, or from a seal into a person by shedding their skin. And oftentimes the skin is hidden to prevent them from returning to the sea. So, in the song, Colleen washes up on shore, having forgotten her old life, and is taken in by a religious order. Probably, it doesn't specify, but probably a convent. She learns prayers for chastity. They give her a new name, Colleen. And the next few months, she just feels so profoundly out of place. And then eventually at the end, she's reminded of her old life and called to return to the sea, although it's kind of ambiguous as to whether she actually goes back or not. So throughout the pandemic, it's been easy to feel like a Selkie who's being prevented from returning to the ocean. Every day you're forced to live in quarantine, social distance, shut down. You're always remembering what it was like before, and you just can't go back to it, but you always have the memory. 2020 has been called awful, terrible, the worst. The pandemic has put our lives on indefinite hold, and every time it seems like an end is in sight, it just keeps going and usually gets worse. But it's 2021 now, so thank goodness for that. We can put that awful, terrible, worst year behind us. But can we reclaim our seal skin and return to the sea of pre-pandemic life? Or has it been destroyed completely? Well, even though 2020 is over and it's 2021 now, the pandemic is still raging. And a big reason for this is denial. From the beginning, wide segments of our population and our government have denied the severity and even existence of the pandemic. Even people who believed that COVID was a major threat didn't want to fully accept at first that it would drag on this long and be this deadly. I mean, I thought maybe everyone will quarantine for 2 months and we'll slow the spread and that'll be that. We didn't want to really believe that not everyone would participate in the quarantine. I mean, I knew that Trump's government was devoid of responsibility and leadership, but I didn't exactly follow this to the conclusion of how that would affect the pandemic response. And even now with the vaccines, we want to believe that it's just snap of the finger, now that there's a vaccine, everyone will get it. But it's been really slow to roll out, and we still have to work hard and quarantine and social distance and do what we can. I guess we thought it would be find the seal skin, put it back on, jump back in the ocean. In many ancient calendars, the new year began in spring, since that's when the plant world wakes up and animals come out of hibernation. Our calendar, our Western calendar, starts in winter. Not even towards the end of winter, like the Lunar New Year in February, when spring is almost in sight. Our year starts just after the winter solstice. We know that the darkest day is behind us, but only just. And we still have quite a ways to go before spring. 2020, the awful, terrible, worst year is over. But the beginning of 2021 is still cold, still dark. This new year won't just be better on its own. And there are many ways it could be worse. We still have work to do. So denial was a major story of 2020. We just heard about Brother and Sister Bear lying. I think that was a big theme, lying and not being truthful. So what will the story of 2021 be? Hopefully no more denial. Hopefully we don't forget, like Colleen. Hopefully we don't resign ourselves to defeat. Let us bring out the false and ring in the true. The new year is supposed to be a time for optimism. Well, an optimistic view of the future requires us to move past our grief, to accept. And only by accepting our current situation can we improve it. In 2021, can we escape our dry lives and return to the water? Or are we stuck here? I don't know really the answer to that, but I think we might be stuck for a while at least. So there's no quick and easy return to pre-pandemic life. That doesn't mean we have to stay in the religious order, in the convent. We could choose to move forward. The optimism of the new year lets us see that there is a way forward if we choose it, but no way back. In 2020, our congregation accepted the fact that our current church building can't sustain us. And because of this, we were able to act and find a way forward. Obviously, we've been in this building for a long time, and everyone has their own connection to it. And there might be some feelings of grief or loss, but our congregation was able to decide and accept the fact of the structural integrity of the building and that there are always more problems coming up with the building. And so now we're in the process of finding the way forward. And change doesn't happen overnight. Just because the days are done getting shorter doesn't mean spring is here. So let us not deny the challenges we face as a state, a country, and a world. Let us move past anger, stop bargaining, and overcome our depression. Let us accept that there is no going back, that the ocean waters we dream of returning to might be shark infested or poisoned with lead and mercury. I'll admit that most days I'm filled with a sense of dread thinking about the future, but that might just be a generational thing. Even with a new year and a new president, there's still the same senior senator from Kentucky, still white supremacy and police brutality, still too much money in politics, still a climate crisis, still colossal and growing wealth inequality, still too much money for endless wars and too little for schools and infrastructure. And there's still a pandemic. But every now and then I do have sparks of reassurance. So the only way forward is to accept where we are and take action. No more denial. Our optimism will grow from that action. Let 2021 be the year for the optimism of acceptance. All right, so when we meet in person, this would be the time that you would be invited to share your offerings with the church and the wider community. This month, we are sharing our plate with Kindness Project of Lehigh Valley, an all-volunteer, donation-based nonprofit organization created to provide support to foster families in the Lehigh Valley and surrounding areas. They supply clothing, shoes, furniture, and other essential items free of charge as children in the foster care system are placed in homes. Their physical shop, the Kindness Exchange, is located in Emmaus, PA. Please take the time to visit our website and click on the Sunday Share the Plate link to share your donation with our December partner, Kindness Project of the Lehigh Valley. You can also make other donations on this page.